So as I walk into the nurse's office, there's 2 police officers. And that scared me even more. I'm like, okay, I didn't commit a crime. Like, why is there police officers here?
What is up, everyone? I'm your host, Alannized, and this is Noche de Pendejadas, your favorite podcast turned talk show en donde yo traigo a tus influencers favoritos para platicar y posiblemente sacarle sus trapitos al sol. El día de hoy les tengo una invitada que yo sé que allá en casita ustedes están súper emocionadas de escuchar y ver. So without any further ado, please help me welcome my guest tonight, Jackie Calderon! Hello, amiga, ¿cómo estás?
I'm good, how are you?
You're a little shy, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Estamos platicando un poquito antes de empezar a grabar, amigas, y la Jackie anda a todo lo que da with the shyness, pero le digo que ahorita después de unos momentos, amigas, siento que te va a quitar the shyness. Are you naturally like shy?
Yes, all the time.
Like just in general, all the time?
Yes.
You're like, siempre, ahorita, she's like, all terror.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, ahorita se le va a ir. Antes de que empecemos con el episodio del día de hoy, cuéntanos un poquito más. What has your day been like getting ready for today? And how was the driving? Porque sé que manejaste from far away. Cuéntanos un poquito más de tu día.
So I started getting my hair and my makeup done around 12. And then I was done around 2:30. I left at 3. And then I got here at 6:02, I think.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I drove for like 2.5 hours. It was so
No,
bad.
you guys, when we were planning this, I was like, oh my God, girl, like, I don't even know if you want to drive that far, huh?
Yes.
Like, we were going back and forth, you guys, porque yo me la hacía. I thought you lived like super close. Like, I thought for some reason you lived like in LA. Antes de que empecemos con el episodio del día de hoy, te voy a dar a ti un momento para que nos digas un poquito más de quién eres y qué haces for those watching at home que a lo mejor no te conocen.
Hi, my name is Jackie Calderon. I am 24 years old. I am a mommy to my beautiful baby girl, Lena Jane, and I also am a content creator. I mostly post TikToks. I do a lot of get ready with me's, story times, mommy videos, and trends. So just a little bit of everything.
You know what video I loved that you like sold me something that I was like, you know what? Like, I shouldn't be buying it, but chinga su madre, I bought it. The faja video.
I love
Yes, those are so good. Like, I swear to God, when that came on my For You page, I was like, yo necesito esa pinche faja.
Is it the ones where I'm like holding my stomach?
Yes, you're literally holding
I'm
your
like-
whole stomach and you're like, do you want to get rid of this? Literally. Yo quiero empezar con tu niñez because I feel like it's really important para poder comprenderte un poquito más a ti with us knowing a little bit more about your upbringing. Tell us a little bit more. ¿Cómo era Jackie growing up? What kind of child were you? Were you the loud child? Were you the outgoing child? And what was your childhood like growing up?
I've heard my mom tell me that I was a really like loud, talkative, and bubbly child. And I was an only child for 5 years. I have a younger sister. She's 19. I'm 24, so we're 5 years apart. For 5 years, I was an only child, so I got to see what that was like. But I don't really remember much of it because I was so young. But I do remember that when my mom told me that I was pregnant, apparently I said something along the lines of, I don't want to have a sister. I want to throw her in the trash.
Me? Why? Because you were so used to getting everything, maybe?
I just was so spoiled and I got everything that I wanted, I guess. So when I heard, like, I'm going to have a sister, I was like, no. I feel like I always got everything that I wanted. I never, like, got to see, like, oh, my parents are struggling or anything like that. My dad has always been, like, a really, like, amazing provider. He's always worked and made sure that we have everything that we needed and wanted. My mom was always a stay-at-home mom, so she would take care of us, clean the house, make sure we were doing good in school and all things like that.
What were hobbies that you liked doing growing up?
I was like one of those kids who really liked to like do puzzles or like do like those educational games and use like those type of toys. Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, I liked reading books.
What was like your favorite book?
As a child, the Caterpillar book. I think it's The Hungry Caterpillar. I love that book.
But that was like very like niña
Yeah,
vibes.
like, yeah.
What about cuando you got a little bit older? Like, what was like something that you loved reading growing up?
Oh, I really liked like the Diary of the Wimpy Kid books. Yeah, I always liked reading those. I don't know, maybe because they weren't like actual chapter books. I didn't like chapter books at all, but...
You were more of just like the pictures.
Yeah.
Te gustaban más las fotos, amiga. Like, so you didn't like reading. You like seeing magazines.
Yeah.
Literally. What was your relationship with your parents like growing up? Do you feel like you were more of like a mommy's girl, a daddy's girl? What was that relationship like growing up?
I was definitely more of a mommy's girl just because my mom was always at home. And my dad, he would go to work in the morning and wouldn't come back till dinner time. So I was just like naturally closer to my mom. And I still am closer to my mom. But that kind of makes me a little bit sad because I'm like, damn, like my parents are just getting older and older and I don't really have like a relationship with my dad like that.
Yeah.
And I'm always like thinking like I might regret it. Like, what if something happens one day and like I regret not being so close to him.
Me estabas contando anoche that, your parents growing up were very toxic and they were constantly fighting a lot growing up. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. What was that like growing up? ¿Qué es lo que viviste? And how do you feel like that affected you growing up?
Yeah, so growing up, I feel like I mentioned, my parents, like, made sure that we had everything, like, if we needed food, toys, clothes, all of that. But I feel like they didn't really focus on, like, the emotional parts of it. So for a while, or still now, like, my parents I feel like they've never really, like, loved each other in a way. Like, maybe they just got along or they just stayed together because they had kids. But I feel like they were just always constantly fighting. And I know I said that my dad wasn't home for most of the time, but when he would come home, that's when, like, they would start arguing and fighting.
Do you remember, like, a time where they, like, got, like, in a big fight and you were, like, stuck in between it?
I feel like that would happen all the time, like, especially when I was, like, old enough to understand what was going on. I remember my dad would often ask me, like, oh, like, do you see what's going on? Like, who do you think is right? And I'm just there, like, I'm a kid, like,
10.
Like, why are you putting me into this?
Yeah.
And I would just, like, stand there awkwardly, and he'd be like, say something. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, this isn't my business, you know?
How would that make you feel? Like, did you ever kind of tell your parents, like, it's not my business, you guys figure it out? Or were you kind of there like, oh, you know what? Maybe you are right. Ay te ponías a ver el problema.
Well, I feel like when it was both of them, like, fighting right in front of me, I would try to avoid it as much as possible. But then, like, behind the scenes, like, when my mom would talk to me, to be like, oh, yeah, I'm on your side. And then when my dad's talking to me, I'm like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. So I'm just there, like, being tossed around. Like, I don't even know what's going on. And, like, at this point, my sister's so young, so she doesn't know anything. Like, so they're just picking me to be in the middle of everything. When I think about my childhood, like, instead of focusing on, like, the good, like, memories, I think mostly about, like, the traumatic ones, like my parents fighting and, like, what it would cause.
I feel like as kids, we don't realize, how not normal that is, because crecemos en eso, and to us it's like, oh, well, everyone does this. I'm sure everyone's parents pelean, or I'm sure everyone lives this way. Do you remember, like, the moment where you realized, like, oh shit, you know what? Like, not everyone's parents are this toxic, or not everyone's parents are constantly fighting as much as yours?
Well, yeah, there was, like, a lot of times where, like, my dad would get really upset at my mom, and then I would be caught into the middle of it. And if I ever did anything that was, like, wrong or that he didn't like, he would, like, take his anger out on me. So there was, like, a lot of instances where I guess when I was a kid, I was kind of like a picky eater, which I feel like is pretty normal for a child. But I guess I would cry and be like, I don't want to eat this. And then my dad would get so upset, he'd, like, lock me in the bathroom. And I say lock me because in reality, I could open the door, but I'm so little, I'm not thinking about that. I'm just in there, like, crying and crying. So I'd have to be in there until I would, like, stop crying, and then he'd let me out. So it's just stuff like that where I was, like, thinking that that's normal, right? And then when I realized that it wasn't normal was when I started, like, going over to my friends' houses, and then I'd see their parents, like, hugging each other, kissing each other, and I'm like, my parents don't do that.
Yeah.
Or, like, their parents are so encouraging, and they're like, oh, come here, let's hug each other, like, all this. And I'm like, my parents don't even do that to me.
Like, would your parents act at least like that when your friends would go over? Would they also be like, de malas, or maybe, like, not even talking to each other?
I feel like it was mostly them not talking to each other. They would just ignore each other.
How did that affect you growing up? Porque obviamente our parents, I feel like, are like our role models growing up, right? Like, growing up until we're old enough to really realize things that we see and put our parents on a pedestal. Do you feel like for a long time, maybe growing up when you were dating, you felt like that was the way people should love you? And maybe you felt like, oh, you know what? Like, if a man treats me this way, it's okay because that's how my parents were. Did it affect you in that way?
Yeah, I feel like it really, like, put, like, the expectations super low because I didn't realize, like, how a man should be treating a woman. So growing up, since my parents weren't giving me, like, that love that I wanted, I feel like it kind of led to me, like, looking for it and getting into a relationship super young. So I feel like that really affected it. And then when I was in that relationship and it was super toxic, like, I feel like I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So I just thought, oh, this is normal. This is how all relationships are. Like, the yelling is normal, the fighting is normal, them dropping you off in the middle of the road and, like, leaving is normal, things like that.
Do you feel like growing up in that environment almost created sense of fear, anxiety, or almost like, oh shit, like, when is the next fight gonna go down? Do you feel like that afectó en esa manera where you were always like, oh my God, I hope, like, everything goes good today, or oh my God, what are they gonna fight about today? ¿Pasaba mucho eso contigo?
Yeah, I feel like I was very, like, much on edge all the time. I remember, like, this specific time, and it's actually really funny because I'll like, tell my mom about it. I'm like, do you remember this and that? And she's like, I don't remember. And I'm like, I remember, like, it's traumatizing. There was this one time where we were in the car, my parents were in the front, and I was in the back in my car seat. I don't know how old I was, but I'm thinking I was like 6 or 7. Not like that.
6, 7,
Not like that. But like actually, I think I might have been like 6 or 7 years old. And I just remember my parents started arguing, and we weren't anywhere close to home. We were maybe like 30 minutes from our house. And I just remember they started arguing, and then my dad was like telling my mom to get out of the car, and her being my mom, she was like, I'm not getting out without Jackie, because my dad was mad.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure she was worried, like, I'm not going to let him, like, leave with my child. I don't know what's going to happen. So I remember she got me out of the car, and then we were basically stranded. At that point, she was like, oh, there's a restaurant right there. Maybe we can go and ask if we can use their phone to call someone to pick us up. As we were walking, my dad did come back, and then we got into the car, and I remember he put his hand, like, back to reach my hand, and he was like, I promise I'm never going to do that again. And I was like, oh, okay, like, he's just apologizing. He's never going to do it again. But I feel like that really, like, messed me up just because I trusted it, and then things just kept happening and happening and happening.
Do you feel like it also affected the way you navigated maybe problems growing up? Like, do you feel like because you saw that constantly, like in your home life, you became a child that maybe in a time you were like, oh, if someone has a problem, like it's going to go straight to fighting? Or were you more, because you suffered that, you were more like calladita, like would you let yourself get almost stepped on? How do you feel like that affected you later on in the way you navigated problems?
I feel like I very much still, like, I hold all of my problems in, and then there's a point where I just, like, I break and I can't hold them in anymore, and I just lash out. I think that's, like, pretty bad, but, like, I'm trying to fix it, but it's hard because, like, that's all I'm used to, just, like, hiding in my emotions, because obviously I wouldn't tell my parents how they made me feel, so I was just holding everything in, and I feel like that just became the normal. I feel like I was very much, like, to myself. Like, I would try to just, like, avoid being around my parents, so I would, like, play my games, do my own thing, or like when my sister like was old enough to play with me, we would play together. Just kind of doing things where my parents weren't involved.
Did it ever get to a point where like growing up, you maybe like spoke to your parents like, hey, you know what, like growing up in that environment or like the way you guys would treat yourselves really affected me? Have you ever like told them about that?
I tell my mom mostly. I do tell her, I'm like, why didn't you guys like just get a divorce or like leave each other? And she was just explaining to me like at that time, like I guess she felt like we needed our dad in our lives, and if they did anything like a divorce or anything, that he wouldn't be in our lives anymore. She thought that was just best to like thug it out, like see if maybe he would change.
As you got older, did you ever have a moment where you like realized you're like, you know what, like I don't want this for myself? What were things that maybe you did to break the cycle? Or do you feel like a veces todavía estás como batallando con eso?
I feel like I still am very much struggling with it. But one thing that I've been like focusing on is just like trying to just like keep peace within myself. So just like taking everything one step at a time and just making sure that I'm not like getting too like carried away or doing like too much at a time. Just like making sure that my emotions are like very much regulated. Just because I feel like when I was growing up, like everything was kind of like chaotic when they were fighting, and I just had like so many emotions. So I feel like now I just try to be like, okay, if I'm feeling sad, like let's see why I'm feeling sad, or if I'm feeling angry, why, and how can I fix it and stuff like that, instead of just like holding it all in and trying to like wait for that moment where I just break and like I lash out at someone. Because I've done that before. Like I'll be holding everything in, and then there's a point where somebody upsets me or they make me mad, and then I just like lash out on them like really bad, and then I end up feeling horrible because I'm like, you didn't deserve that.
Yeah. And I feel like that's very valid, because I feel like yo también soy un poquito así. I feel like I keep my emotions and just my feelings to myself. Like my boyfriend could sit me down and he's like, how are you feeling? And I'll be like, fine, even if I'm feeling like shit. Or even when things irk me about certain people, I'm very good at like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Like I'm not gonna get mad. But then it gets to a point where, like you said, I bottle it all up, and then I'm like, no, ya estuvo bueno. Y luego digo cosas hasta de que no, que luego me arrepiento, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so bad. I'm so fucking bad.
Yeah, I'm like, where did that even come from? Like, I don't even mean these things, but they just come out.
What piece of advice can you give, someone watching that is currently in a situation like yours and that feels that maybe things won't get better at home?
I think I would probably just tell them to just try to like avoid those situations and try to keep to themselves and not focus too much on it. Don't let it ruin your day. Because I know like when I was going through that, I felt like, oh my God, my parents are going to be fighting forever and forever. And I just felt like this is going to be my whole entire life. And then when I grow up, like I'm going to be doing the same thing with my partner. So I feel like I would just say like, just take it like one step at a time. And like sooner or later, there's going to be a point where you're going to get the chance to like, either you can tell your parents, you can get the courage to talk to your parents, or you'll be able to like leave that situation yourself. And then when you have your own family, you're going to be able to like set the right example.
You know, I want to talk about something a little bit more vulnerable. Me estabas contando ayer that at 12 years old te pasó algo que te cambió la vida para siempre. If you feel comfortable, cuéntanos un poquito más de cómo pasó. What was, you know, your reaction after the first time it happened? Did you realize what was really going on, or was it something que captaste later on? Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso.
At 12 years old, I was sexually assaulted by someone in my family. At the time, this was somebody that I trusted and I loved as a family member. We would always hang out and we would go like places like, oh, let's go to Hollywood, let's go get ice cream, let's go shopping. So we had a really close relationship, and I never thought that they would do anything like that to me until there was this one night where, well, let me give a little bit more context. This person lived in our house. They had their own room. I had my own room, and my parents had their own room, and my sister did too. So we all had our own rooms. And there was this one night where they came into my room, and I would always leave my door unlocked. I didn't feel like there was any need to lock it. So they came into my room, and I just remember that they started touching me inappropriately in my private areas. And as they were doing that, I just kind of like laid there and I froze. And I always beat myself up over this because I'm like, my parents, they're right across.
Yeah.
All I had to do was yell. But when I tell you, like, I tried and it was just like nothing was coming out of my mouth. So I just laid there. And like
It's okay.
I just laid there, and after he was done, he told me to get off the bed. And I like, even till now, I'm like, I don't know why I listened. I could have like, my parents could have saved me, but I didn't yell. And then that's when he told me to get off the bed. He pulled his pants down, and then he pulled his pants down, and then he told me to put his private part in my mouth. And then after he was done, he just was about to walk away. And then he turned and he was like, don't tell anyone or I'm going to do it to somebody else. And this really scared me because I was like, that's only two people, my mom and my sister. So ever since that happened, I didn't say anything for 3 years. And I just remember right after that happened, I went back, I laid in my bed, and I just was crying the whole night. And every time I think about that situation, I can just remember, like, I remember looking out the window and the light was on. I don't know why, but that always, like, sticks out to me, just the window and the light.
Did it happen multiple times, or was it just like a one-time thing?
No, it only happened once.
What was it like, you know, el saber que pasaste por esto and still having and seeing this person, you know, in your home? What was it like carrying with this secret at just 12 years old?
It was really hard for me. The worst part was that I shared a birthday with this person. So for the longest time, I hated my birthday. Like every time my birthday would come up, I had to act so happy, pretend like everything was fine. But we, like, you know how Hispanic families, they always, like, oh, if somebody has the same birthday, they make it something big.
Yeah.
They do it together.
Like 2 cakes and everything.
Yeah, for a couple of years, like, I just hated my birthday. I dreaded that day. And it was just, like, so hard for me. And then I would have to act like this person did nothing. Because I'm telling you, like, I was so scared after they said, I might do it to, like, your mom or your sister. And I was like, that's, like, I didn't want that to happen. My sister was so little, like,
yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to want someone to hurt my sister. And I was scared. So I didn't say anything. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody. There was a lot of times where me and my mom would be alone and be like, this is the perfect time. But I would get so scared. I don't know why I let it, like, scare me so much. Like, now that I think about it, I'm like, if I would have said something, I'm pretty sure he wasn't going to be able to do what he told me he was going to do. But at that time, like, it was scary. I mean, I was 12 years old.
Yeah. After it happened, did he ever bring it up again, or was it just something like él actuando como que si nunca hizo nada?
Yeah, he just acted like nothing happened, and then I had to act like nothing happened, and that's how we just, like, kept going. And I would see him every day because he lived there, so I saw him every day until I was 14. That's when we moved, and then he didn't move with us.
A los 15 años, you know, you finally had the courage to open up and talk to someone about what was going on. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. What led to you, you know, wanting to tell someone? Who did you tell? How did they react? ¿Y qué pasó después?
So, like I had mentioned, I had that habit of, like, holding in all of my emotions. And I just remember I was a freshman in high school, and at the time I had a boyfriend who I had been with since 7th grade. So I was a freshman. And at that time, like, there was some days where I would just have really bad days, and it would just consist of me being like in a bad mood, feeling super anxious. And I was like, honestly, just so tired of it. So there was this one day where we just went to the park after school, because there was a park really close to our high school. And we were just like sitting down on the grass, like, you know, just like doing, I don't know, just talking. And I was like, can I tell you something? And that's when I opened up about it. And that was the first person that I ever told.
Were you scared prior to telling him? Like, oh my God, how is he going to react? You know, maybe you were a child. Maybe you thought like, oh my God, he's going to see me or view me different. Were those like thoughts you were having in your head before you like finally told him?
Yeah, they were, because when I was 12 years old, after it happened, I felt really disgusted with myself. And I know like it wasn't something that I like asked for, but I felt really disgusted with myself. I just felt so ugly, and I didn't like myself. So I was like, if I say something, like, they might think that about me, like, oh, like, she's so gross, like, you know, negative things. So I was pretty scared, but honestly, it was just like way too much. And I was like, I need to tell at least someone. It felt really good to say something, actually. I just remember I was just crying and crying and crying, but it felt so good to actually be able to tell someone. And after I had told him, I just remember it just felt like something was just like lifted off of my back, and I was like, finally, like, somebody knows. I don't have to keep it in anymore. So after I had told him, I was like, please don't tell anyone. Like, I'm just telling you because I trust you. And then we went on about our days. Like, I went home, he went home, everything was normal. And then I don't know if it was 2 or 3 days after, but I remember that a couple days after, I was in my English class and I got a slip to go to the office. And this was like so like odd. I was like, I'm not a bad student. Like, why am I getting called up to the office? Like, I haven't done anything bad. And go to the office, and the lady at the front desk is like, the nurse wants to see you. So that confused me even more. I was like, the nurse, like, I'm not injured, I'm not hurt. Like
I'm not sick.
Yeah, like
what the fuck?
What does the nurse want to do with me? So as I walk into the nurse's office, there's 2 police officers. And that scared me even more. I'm like, okay, I didn't commit a crime. Like, why is there police officers here? So the nurse is like, hey, sweetie, like, these police officers are going to ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to step out of the room and I'll come back when they're done. And I was just like, okay, like, that's so confusing. Like, like, I'm telling you, like, I was a really good kid. Like, I was like, I haven't done anything.
And in your mind, not one thought about what was going on actually was going through your mind? Like, you didn't think at any moment, like, oh shit, it's about what I told my boyfriend? Like, tú ni en cuenta.
I didn't, because I had said, like, don't tell anyone. So I was like, okay, like, he's got my back. Like, he's not going to tell anyone. So then they started asking me questions, and I don't remember exactly what they, like, started off with, but I do remember they were like, somebody had called CPS, and they said that you had been sexually assaulted, and we just want to, like, talk to you about it. Who, like, basically getting, like, the who, what, when, where, how. Yeah. And then I just remember I started, like, bawling my eyes out because, well, first of all, I was, like, it was so, like, I was caught off guard. Yeah. And then I'm at school. There's 2 police officers right in front of me, and they know. Yeah. So I just started crying. And then they were really, like, comforting. They were like, it's okay, take your time. Like, then they got me to calm down, and then they asked me all the questions. I did my best to answer everything. And they were like, okay, thank you. And then they walked out, and then the nurse came back in, and then she's like, okay, you can either hang in here for a little bit till you calm down, or you can go back to class. And then I go back to class, right? And then in that class, I had a lot of my friends, so they're like, they're all chismosos. They're like, what happened? What'd you do? What'd you get in trouble for? And I'm just there, like, I'm all awkward, like, I can't tell you guys, like, I'm not about to say anything. So I'm just like, oh, nothing. I just had to, like, do some paperwork. And then that's what happened at school. And then when I, like, continued throughout my day, I just remember thinking, I was like, how do they know? Like, I told him not to tell anyone.
Did you text your boyfriend, like, telling him off? Like, why would you do that? Or, like, did you not text him because you're like, let me not?
Well, I waited until we saw each other during lunch. And I was like, what happened? Like, you told someone? And he was like, yeah, I told my mom. And I remember, like, maybe I shouldn't have reacted this way, but I was really mad. And I started, like, cussing him out. And I was like, why did you tell your mom? Like, what the fuck? Like, I trusted you. Like, you weren't supposed to tell her. Like, you're so weird for that. Like, I was saying this and that, you know? And then he was like, well, I had told her because I felt, like, scared for you. Like, I wanted to help you. And then he had told me that his mom had gone through something similar and that she would have wished that somebody would have, you know, helped her. So she thought, like, the best way of getting help for me was to call CPS.
Yeah. How did the school inform your mom? Did your mom find out because of the school?
So that same day when I went home, I guess CPS had already been to my house because my mom was like, hey, can I ask you something? And as soon as she said that, I was like, fuck, she knows. She's like, oh, CPS came and they asked me if I knew anything about this person sexually assaulting you. And I was like, oh, like, you know? And she was like, well, I don't know much. They didn't tell me like everything, but like, can you tell me? I feel like that was like the worst part of it all, like telling my mom, just because like I was just thinking the whole time, like, I'm her baby, you know?
Yeah.
And like I'm over here telling her like this person that we welcomed into our house, like they took advantage of me. So that was like the worst thing, like just seeing her cry and cry, like after I'm telling her all of this. And I just like, I felt so bad. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, it was just a lot.
Did your parents reach out to him, like to tell him shit or to do anything about it?
I'm not sure if my parents did. Honestly, like the whole time, it felt like the only one that was like on my side was my mom. Like, I don't know if my dad even like was like very much aware of what happened, just because like I never got the chance to like tell him personally what had happened. So I don't know if like my mom like had a conversation with him about it, or if my dad was just like in the background, like behind the scenes. What had happened was after CPS had talked to my mom, they had told her that they were gonna assign a detective to the case. And then I had to go to therapy. Through the detective, there was like multiple times where I had to get interviewed. There was a time where they came to my house and I had to call him and I had to try to get him to like admit over the phone that he did something. And that was like pretty traumatizing too, because I'm like talking to the person who like abused me, right? And on the phone, I'm like trying to get him to be like, yes, I did it. And he's just like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And that really hurt because I'm like, you did it. Like, just admit. Just admit to it. I remember he was saying that he wasn't even there, that he was like out with his friends. I'm like, that's such a lie. And like, I don't know, it just like hurt me because I'm like, right now, like the only person that believes me is my mom. Obviously, my sister, she didn't know, she was so little. Like, we weren't gonna tell her. I don't even think she was gonna be able to like comprehend. But the person who did this to me, I remember that when his family found out, like his like immediate family members, his sisters came to my house and they like were yelling at me. They were out there like waiting, and then me and my mom walked out and they started yelling at me. They were saying like, oh, you're such a liar, like you're making this up, you're trying to get something out of it. I'm like, what am I gonna get out of it? The only thing I'm getting out of it is I have to go to therapy now, and I have to deal with detectives.
Deal with all this shit,
Like, this isn't something fun for me. Like, I feel like it made me like hate myself in a way. Like, I just felt so gross and disgusted because it's like this person was like related to me and they like did something to me, and I was 12 years old. Like, it was just like something that I'm like, I never asked for that. I never wanted that. Like, it just made me feel so disgusted with myself.
How was coping with the situation? Do you feel like once you opened up about it, do you feel like the healing was starting to become a little bit easier because you're like, you know what, I'm not hiding this anymore. My mom knows, you know, if people don't believe me, no me importa, because I no longer have to hold this secret in. Do you feel like it made healing a little bit better? If so, what were coping mechanisms you went through to like heal from this?
It was both. It made it better, but it also made it worse just because I remember like as more family members like started finding out about this, everybody was like against me. They're like, she's lying, she's trying to get something out of it. And I was like, that's like the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, a lot of my family members, they kind of like turned their backs on us and they like stopped talking to us because they thought that I was lying.
How did that feel? Did you ever like culparte? You know, you did mention that you used to like almost make or beat yourself up for like, you know, being in that situation, even though you had no fault in it. After you open up and, you know, your family starts turning against you, did you ever feel like bad or almost beat yourself up for it because you were like, oh my God, now I'm separating the family with me opening up about what happened?
Yeah, I definitely felt like really bad. I was like, I'm the cause for all of these problems. But also like, because I was going to therapy at that time, my therapist was helping me understand like, it's not your fault. Like, you didn't do anything. So that was kind of helping. And then I would tell her like the problems that were going on like with my family, and she'd like give me like encouraging words to like help me feel better, and then she'd tell me how to like cope with it myself so that I wasn't like beating myself over it that much.
Do you feel like therapy helped you? If so, in what way sientes como que te ayudó in the healing process?
I think it helped me a lot because after that had happened, I was really, really anxious, like going to sleep, always having to lock the door, like making sure that there was nobody in my room. Like, I would like do so many like things that now I'm like, that's so unnecessary, and like a child shouldn't have to go through all of that. Therapy really did help me just like be less anxious because of what had happened. Like, I got really, really anxious in public like situations. So like ordering food or just like talking to like employees, like that was really hard for me. So through therapy, I was able to get over that fear And there was like a lot of times through therapy where she would be like, okay, we're gonna like do like, I don't know if you would call it like exposure therapy, but like we'd go out and she'd be like, okay, like let's practice like ordering a drink or talking to random people, just like getting you used to being back outside. So that really helped.
Do you feel like it also affected the way you trusted people growing up? Porque yo siento como de niños, you know, maybe before this happened to you, I feel like we're very trusting, right? Like, you know, they always say, Mexican parents always be saying, ay no, a mi hijo me lo roban porque a todos anda con todos. You know, like how they say like, oh, like if you're a bubbly kid and you te llevas con todos, like they always make little comments. Do you feel like after that happened, do you feel like your trust in people shifted completely because you're like, what the fuck? If this person that is my family did this to me, ¿qué me espero de la gente en el real world?
Yeah, it definitely made it so that I couldn't trust people, but also because nobody knew for like 3 years, I was pretending like everything was fine, like everything was normal. Like I'm just myself. I'm still like, I'll talk to anybody, you know? So it was really hard having to like mask all of that and then also having to deal with like my actual feelings.
What's something that you would tell your 12-year-old version of yourself if you were able to talk to her right now?
I think I would just give her a hug, just like a really big hug. Just because like I said, like I felt so disgusted with myself. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Like I felt so disgusted with myself at the time, so I'd just give her a hug. Tell her that it's not her fault. I think I would say that if you're able to and you have the courage to, you should speak up. I know that people might say something, but I think it's more important to worry about yourself and putting yourself first. So I think if you speak up, you'll get the help that you need and you can heal.
I agree. Thank you so much for opening up about this. You know, I know it's very hard, especially to open up about something like this, you know, to a lot of people. And I feel like, you know, maybe with this, people can really feel seen too. Like, si ustedes están pasando por algo, amigas, sepan que it gets better. You know what I mean? Like, you don't always have to feel the way you guys are feeling right now. Do you feel like time helped you to heal that wound?
Yeah, I think as I got older too and I started just like realizing more things as an adult, I just like was able to heal just like over time, realizing like, okay, other people go through it too. It's not just me, and other people are able to heal and they're able to like be comfortable with themselves again and love themselves. If they can do it, I can do it too. Just like as I see people tell their stories, it makes me feel better because I'm like, okay, this is what they did. This is their journey and they were able to heal. I've actually always wanted to like talk about my story on like my social media, but I've always been scared to just because of like the comments and stuff. Like usually I don't let comments get to me and usually I can ignore them. But I'm like, if somebody like says like, oh, she's lying or like
they'll trigger you.
Yeah, like, oh, she's just doing it for views, like things like that. Like I know like I would get like pretty upset, which is why I never like talked about it.
Thank you so much for opening up and, you know, giving us that part of you on here para que la gente te pueda conocer un poquito más. You know, hablando de la escuela, me estabas comentando that, you know, you were a very good child in school. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. What was school like for you? Were you popular? Were you considered the nerd? Did you have a lot of friends? Cuéntanos un poquito más de tu experiencia en la escuela.
Okay, so during high school, I wouldn't say that I was like popular, but I was known.
Okay.
Like if somebody was like, oh, Jackie, like
they knew who,
it was me. So I feel like I was just like super friendly. So that's why like everybody knew who I was. I would say hi to everybody. Like I wasn't like, oh my God, no, like you're weird. Like no, I would just say hi to everybody. When it came to like grades and stuff, I was actually like pretty good at school. Like I love school. Like I was kind of like a tryhard. Sometimes like I would be like that kid. Oh my God, people are gonna hate me for this. You know, when like the teacher forgets like to collect the homework, like because I would do it, I'd be like, "Here's my homework."
Or teacher, you're not gonna get the homework.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, "Shut up, Jackie!" Literally.
Sometimes I would do that, but I'm like, because I spent like all my like time doing the homework. Like, take it.
If they didn't do it, not my fault. Que yo sí la hice.
No, but I wouldn't do that all the time.
Yeah, like just sometimes. Right now, her classmates are gonna comment now. She would do that all the time. What was like your favorite subject?
I really liked English. I feel like I've always been really good at like writing essays. So that was like probably my favorite.
I feel like I hated doing essays. I've said this so many times. I feel like my favorite was history. Because I've always been really good with like memory. Like ahorita ya pienso que ya me está fallando un poquito, amigas, por la tomadera, la fumadera y todo eso. But I feel like as a kid, I would remember, si me decías algo, 5 years later, I would be like, no, ¿te acuerdas esa vez que me dijiste eso? So I feel like with history, I was able to use that like, como era yo de niño que me acordaba de todo. And it was so easy to me because I was like, okay, as long as I know when things happened, like history is not going to change. It's going to be the same. So like your answer is always going to be the same. So por eso ya me gustaba. Y ahora si me preguntas, when one was World War I, World War II, y ahorita ya no me acuerdo. I'm like, but back then, sí, ahorita ya tengo casi 30 años, amigas. Obviamente ya, I've been out of school for so long, you know. You actually went to college. I'm like, unlike me, you went to college y te graduaste with a bachelor's degree. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. And what did you major in? What made you want to pursue college? And how was your overall experience in college?
So I majored in business administration. The reason that I actually went to college was just because it's always been like my dad's dream to have like one of his daughters graduate, and I'm like the oldest. So I was like, okay, maybe I can like make his dream come true. But initially I didn't really want to go because after high school I was like, I'm done. I was like 12 years of school, like no, yeah, I was like no more. But I was like, you know what, maybe I'll like it. So I went, and initially I actually wanted to study psychology because I wanted to be a therapist. Because of what I had gone through, I was like, oh, maybe I can like help others. But then I realized it was like 6 years of school, and I was like, no.
You're like, you're like, which one's 1 year?
Yeah. So then I was like, what's like the easiest major? And then my dad was like, maybe you should try business. And I was like, okay. So that's why I decided to go with business.
Were you working at the time you were going to college?
Yes, so I actually was working at the gym at Planet Fitness.
How was it like, you know, juggling your schoolwork, then having to go clock in at your job? Were you like on your break doing your tarea? What was that like, juggling everything that was going on at your life while still trying to like do college?
I feel like I got pretty lucky because I would like be really picky with my professors. There's like this website called Rate My Professor.
Yes,
So I would always look on that and be like, who doesn't give homework? Who doesn't give a lot of tests? So I would always just make sure that I picked like the easiest teachers. So that really helped. And then it was pretty easy. Like I would just go to school in the morning and then in the afternoon go to work, and then the weekends work whenever.
Did you ever have moments where you wanted to give up, where you're like, you know what, this is too much, the stress of finals, like this is too much work, like I have other things to worry about?
Yeah, like in senior year, there was so many times where I was like, I can't do this. Like they're asking for too much. Like I feel like during senior year, like that's when everything like piles up. They're like, you need to do your assignment, and you need to make sure you're passing all your classes, and you need to do this paperwork and this, or you're not going to graduate. Like it's so much at once. And I just feel like it was like way too much for me. And I was like, I can't do this right now. But I just kept thinking like, when your parents see you walk across that stage, then it's going to be like so worth it.
How did that moment feel for you? The moment you were walking down that stage, did you feel like, you know what, I did that?
Yeah, I was like pretty proud of myself because I had graduated, not with the highest honors, but it was, I think it's called magna cum laude. It was like the middle honors, but I was still like, oh, I did that. Like I had a pretty high GPA. The only reason why I didn't get the highest honors was because there was one class where I got a B.
Oh shit, and that B fucked you up.
Yeah.
Did you end up using your degree for like in your field, or you're like doing influencing? Well, it kind of goes, because I feel like you can use it in the influencing world.
Well, like when I was in college, I took like a lot of marketing classes.
Okay.
And I was like, I really liked influencer marketing. That was like what was getting my attention. And I was like, ooh, maybe I could like get into this, because at the time I was doing social media, but I wasn't like super big. So I was like, this could be like really interesting. But I haven't actually used my degree. After I graduated, I got pregnant a couple months after.
Well, kind of you did though, because if you did marketing y tú me bendices esa faja,
okay,
I'm like, so it kind of did help. Like the way you guys need to go see that video, you guys tienen que comprar esa faja, but only with the TikTok shop that goes to her para que agarre su porcentaje. But you really know how to sell a product, and I feel like those videos do so well for you because they're so real. Like we were mentioning, you know, nos comentas de que te embarazaste, you know, during that time.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that. You know, what symptoms were you feeling prior to like finding out you were pregnant? What made you be like, you know what, chingue su madre, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test? And when it came out positive, what was your reaction? How did your boyfriend react? Cuéntanos todo eso.
So every month my cycle was literally like on the dot. I think it was the 15th of every month I would get it. Like if I didn't get it, then that was like something's off. And I remember that month, like I wasn't getting it on the 15th, and I was like, hold on. But also I had started going to the gym, and I know that like doing like physical activity can like delay.
Push it back.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, maybe it's that. So I gave it like a week, and it still hadn't came, and I was like, but I didn't think, because I was also on birth control. I had the IUD, and I know it's not 100%. Like I know the doctor said 99.9, but I'm like, is the 1% like really like?
Of course it is. I'm like, clearly, like
yeah.
that 1% is a big 1%.
But yeah, so at the time I was like, it can't be that. I was like, maybe I'm stressed out. Maybe I'm working out too much. Like something happened, right? And then I remember that I was like, maybe I'm just going to take a test. And And I was like, but I was thinking of it as a joke. I was like, this isn't even going to be positive. So I was like there, like filming my little TikTok. I was like, guys, I might be pregnant. But like this whole time I'm treating it as a joke.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like I'm pregnant, right? And then I do like my whole little TikTok. I record myself like peeing on the stick. Like, obviously you don't see that, but you can hear it.
I'm like, damn, you're good at marketing. She's all sitting on the toilet, showing them how to pee.
No, you can like just like hear everything going on, right? And then I'm like waiting. And then I'm like, and then it's like positive and I'm like.
Were you like, what the fuck, joke's on me?
I know, I'm like, fuck.
You're like, what do I do now? How did you tell your like family or like your boyfriend?
I was just like, hey, like, look at this test. Like, do you see what, like, it's positive, right? Because the lines are, like, so faint, too. I'm like, maybe it's, like, me, like, just imagining. Like, maybe I'm not even pregnant, right? So we're both looking at it and we're like, fuck. Like, not fuck as in, like...
But, yeah, fuck as in, like, oh, my God. Like, what are we going to do now? Yeah.
And obviously, like, it could happen, right? Like, we're not dumb. I'm not, like, a little kid. I'm not, like, la, 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 la. Like, nothing's going to happen. Like, I knew, like, it was a possibility. Like, the doctors explained it and everything. But I just didn't think it would happen.
How was your pregnancy overall? Do you feel like you had a smooth pregnancy? Did you have any complications? Cuéntanos un poquito más de, your pregnancy overall.
I feel like my pregnancy was pretty good, but I do remember just like all the time, like something would smell like so bad, vomiting. I would eat something, vomiting. Like it got to the point to where like I couldn't eat chilaquiles anymore. I couldn't eat quesadillas. I couldn't have cheese, like any of that. Eggs were disgusting to me. Like everything was just so bad. I couldn't eat anything. The only thing that I could eat was fruit. That was the only thing that wouldn't like make me throw up.
Would you crave the fruit, or what were like your weird cravings that you would have like during your pregnancy? Did you have any like weird cravings?
Not like super weird, not like what you see online, but like I hated pickles, and now like during my pregnancy and after, like now I love pickles. Like I can eat them, but before I was like, that's disgusting.
What was it like, seeing your body change during your pregnancy? Obviamente, it's the beauty of, the women's body when creating a little human. But obviamente, you're still human. A veces los sentimientos, as you're seeing your body change, it can really get to you. Do you feel like you struggled with that a lot?
Well, there was like a moment where I was like, either I look pregnant or I look fat to people. Like there's like, there wasn't really a belly. Yeah. And I didn't really like that stage just because I was like, I look pretty fat. Like if I'm not putting my hand here, everybody just thinks like, oh, she eats a lot. Like, so I was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't like this. But then after my like belly came in, I was like, this is so cute. I loved my bump. Like I loved like wearing like little crop tops or just like showing it off. Like I thought it was like the cutest thing ever. But I gained like a total of 30 pounds, I think.
I feel like that's not like crazy much. No, yeah, I feel like that's good. No, yeah.
But after I gave birth, it was like really hard to like get back to like the weight that I was before I got pregnant. But now I'm there.
Yay! What was birth like? Se te rompe la fuente. You're like, oh my God, I need to go to the hospital. What was your birth story?
So that didn't happen to me. Like I really wanted my water to break, but it didn't. I just remember the 2 weeks before I had given birth, I started like walking a lot, like 2 to 3 miles every day, just like walking. Because at the time I lived in LA. So I would just like walk down Sunset Boulevard, like all the time, just like going through all the little shops, like just for fun. And then I was supposed to give birth on the 16th of August, but I gave birth on the 3rd. So she came early. And I think it was because of the walking that I did. But I remember it was like on the 2nd of August, that whole day, like I just had cramps on cramps on cramps, but they weren't consistent enough to where I could go to the hospital, right? So I'm just there like dealing with it. I'm like, oh, it hurts. Like, and I didn't know what to do either. Like, I've never given birth, right? So I'm like, this feels so weird. And I'm like looking up online, like what to do. And there's like all these positions. I'm like laying on all fours, like I'm doing this and that. And I'm like,
with the pelota.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not helping. And then they're like, drink the teas. That also, like, I was like, none of this is helping me. So I just had to like deal with it. And then I remember it was like 3 a.m. And I was like, we got to go to the hospital. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, they were getting so close together. And then when I got to the hospital, she was like, if you're not dilated at all, like, you're going to be sent back. And I was like,
fuck.
I'm like, I can't deal with this. Like, what do you mean I'm going to be sent back? Like, low-key, the nurse was kind of being, like, a little mean. She was like, I don't think you're dilated. I'm like, check, girl, check. And
you're like, I'm about to give birth, bitch, literally.
She checked and she's like, okay, you're 2 centimeters. You're staying here. And honestly, like, the thing I regret the most is I didn't eat before going to the hospital.
Was that a good thing, though? Because no te cagaste. Because I've heard that people shit themselves cuando comen antes. What was, like, your meal after? Like, what was your reward meal?
Oh, I literally just had whatever they had at the hospital. It was, like, some type of, like, steak. Like, steak. It wasn't, like, actual steak. It was, like, mashed potatoes and then veggies. Like, it was really good, but I think maybe because I hadn't eaten in 12 hours. I feel like my birth was pretty smooth. I was in labor for a total of 12 hours, but I only pushed for 10 minutes.
Oh shit, rápido. You're
yeah.
like, vengo for one thing and one thing only, that's to give birth. Y me voy. What was it like, afterwards? Obviamente, once you give birth, it sinks in. If it didn't sink in while you were pregnant, you're like, oh shit, now I have a human to take care of. Like, baby's no longer in my tummy. Like, tengo que cuidar a este bebé. What was that like? Do you feel like you struggled a lot with the sleepless nights? What was it like adjusting to motherhood at the beginning?
I feel like I adjusted to it, like, as soon as, like, I heard my baby crying, like, when they, like, pulled her out, that's when I was like, I'm a mother, because the whole time, like, I'm just, like, in pain, like, there's just contractions and contractions, I'm just there, like, trying to, like, deal with it, right? And then she's like, okay, you're about to push, and then she's like, push, and I'm like, I don't know how to push, like, I've never done this. That, too, she was, like, telling me to push, and I'm like,
girl, I'm doing that.
I'm like, girl, I don't know how to push. And
like, they expect you to fucking know. Like, it's my first time.
Yeah, and then she was like, breathe in and then, like, do it. And I was like, okay, I got the hang of it. And then as I'm doing that, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, in a couple of seconds, like, I'm a mom. Like, she's going to come out and I have to, like, know what to do, right? And I just remember, like, after they had, like, cleaned her up and everything, they put her, like, on me. And then she, like, started latching. And I was like, how do you know how to do that? But I was like, oh, okay, like, now I'm, like, this is a real deal. Like, I have to, like, get used to it, right? But I feel like it wasn't that hard. Like, maybe because I had, like, low-key, I did, like, a little bit of research before. I was like, what is it like to have a baby? Like, what should you do? I was watching so many YouTube videos. I was, like, looking up articles. Like, I was trying to do, like, everything to be prepared. So I feel like once she was here, I was like, okay, like, I kind of know what to do. And also the nurses, they were, like, super helpful. So they were like, this is how you change a diaper. This is how you, like, give her milk and all that. So I was like, okay, it's not that bad. And then when we got home, everything was, like, already set up for the baby. So I was just like, okay, I just have to watch her, take care of her. And then she was, like, low-key a pretty good sleeper. So there wasn't, like, a lot of nights where I didn't sleep. I think maybe I would wake up on occasion, but also because I was breastfeeding her, I would just, like, grab her and then put her on my breast.
And you're all falling asleep. Yeah, she's all eating, you're all asleep. I'm like, okay, did you have, like, a lot of help from, like, your partner or your mom?
Yeah, my mom helped me out a lot. So, like, that was actually, I was like, Mom, can you please, like, help me as much as you can? Like, you've done this before. Like, I've never, and I feel super comfortable with my mom. So I was like, please help me. She was, like, helping me shower. She was, like, teaching me everything. So that was, like, really helpful.
After giving birth, do you feel like you struggled at any point after or during your pregnancy with postpartum depression?
I feel like I didn't really struggle with it just because I had, like, a lot of support and a lot of help. During my pregnancy, like, obviously my partner was there, and then also, like, my family was there. So, like, anything I needed, I'd be like, guys, I don't feel good. Like, please help me, right? They'd be there for me. And then after, like, I had so much help. Like, both grandparents from both sides are super helpful. So that just, like, made everything so much easier. If I ever needed a break, like, either one would come and, like, watch the baby. Or if I needed sleep, or if I just needed anything, like, they'd be there. So I feel like that really helped me not feel lonely. And I was just like, okay, I'm not, like, it's not just me. Like, like, it's a whole village doing this.
Which I feel like it's how it's supposed to be, you know what I mean? Because yo pienso, pasa mucho when, women give birth, especially when the partner feels like, oh, that's the women's job. You take care of the babies. It's good that you were able to have, that village behind you to let you almost recuperarte. Porque, se escucha mucho that even after giving birth, a lot of people only worry about the baby and not about the women. And it's like, no, we have to come even first before the baby, because si la mamá no está bien, pues mucho menos el bebé.
Yeah, that's why I was, like, so grateful for my mom, because she was, like, taking care of me, like, making sure that I was, like, eating. She'd, like, have, like, breakfast, lunch, and dinner ready. Like, oh, you need to eat, like, avena and all this stuff to help with your milk. And I was like, oh, my God, like, this is great. Like, she's, like, making sure that I'm eating, because I'm pretty sure if she wasn't, like, giving me the meals, like, I don't think I would have had time to, like, cook, like, all this healthy, like, nice food for myself, right? Because I'm over here taking care of the baby.
How old is your baby now?
She is 16 months.
Ooh, how do you feel like motherhood looks for you right now? Do you feel like you got the hang of it? Like, how do you feel like motherhood has changed your whole aspect in life? ¿Cómo te ha cambiado el ser madre?
So before I got pregnant, I was one of those people, like, I would hear a kid crying and I'd be like, ew, like, these parents need to, like, do something about it. Like, I wouldn't say, like, I hated kids, but, like, I really did not like kids. And anytime anyone would ask, like, oh, are you ever going to have a kid? I'd be like, no, like, I cannot have kids. Like, I don't like kids. And then I got pregnant, and then everything changed. So now, like, I love kids. Like, if I hear a kid cry, I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, they're just crying. Yeah. Like, I just, like, feel for the parents. I'm like, I get, like, what you're going through. Like, I know it's, like, not easy to, you know, like calm a kid down.
Yeah.
Like my daughter right now, she's in the stage where she like throws tantrums. She'll like throw herself like on the floor, and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like over little things too, like, oh, I didn't let her eat a candy, and there she goes like throwing herself everywhere, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Do you feel like it's gotten harder? Like, you know, because mucha gente dice que every stage is hard, but you feel like it's harder for you now ya que está un poquito más grandecita versus when she was just de mano y que pues hacía lo que tú querías. Like, do you feel like it's like hard where you're like, girl, give me a break?
Yes, like it's now that she like walks and she can open things. Like I've tried to like baby proof the whole house. She still finds a way to like, I don't know, like get through that. Like we have like the cabinets like where you pull on it, you can't open it unless you have a little magnet. And she figured out that if you like pull hard enough like multiple times, it'll come undone.
So she's smart.
Yeah, she'll open everything. And I'm like, recently she figured out she can open the fridge. She takes everything out. I'm like, girl, please
That's some cochinero
stop.
then.
Yes. And there was this one time where like there was like chocolate bolita in the fridge. She like somehow opened it and then she started eating it.
The whole bar.
Yeah,
just
the
like that.
whole bar. And I was like,
That's brave. Like, that's brave. That's crazy. I don't even like chocolate de abuelita like
yeah,
that
she
too
was like
much.
munching on it. I'm like, girl. And then I'm over here like, you made a whole mess and you're eating it. Like, what do I do first? Do I clean you? Like, take the chocolate?
Or the cochinero.
Yeah, I'm like, it's too much.
Do you want more babies or do you feel like for right now, one and done?
I feel like for right now, I'm very much like one and done. And also, like, I don't know, I want to give her like all of my attention because I've noticed like she's going through like the tantrum stage. So imagine like I have one going through tantrums and then the other one like crying. I'm like, how am I going to do both? Like, I mean, maybe like, I know people can do it.
Yeah, it's like doable, but you're like, fuck, I'm a struggle.
I'm like, do I really want to like go through all that right now?
You're like, maybe not.
Maybe
You're
not.
like, maybe not right now.
But I feel like definitely right now it's like gotten easier in the way that I'm like, okay, like I kind of understand like what she wants and what she needs. And like she's starting to like talk. So she'll be like, instead of like if she wants food, she'll be like snack, knack.
So ya le entiendes, como ya empieza a platicarte bien.
Yeah, or
bien,
like
bien.
she knows how to say like cookie, she says tutti.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so cute. Or like apple. Like she knows like little words like that or like agua. So I'm like, okay, like if you want something, like I know, or like I like that she can say like sí and no. So I'm like, okay, ¿quieres comer? Sí. I'm like, okay.
Oh no. You're like, that's good. Because I feel like I'm very much like how you were before. I like kids, but when they're not mine.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm like, ya cuando empiezan a llorar, a gritar, a hacer esos pinches tantrums, ya, llévatelo.
I will
to my
say
siblings.
though, like as like a mom, when like someone gives her back, I'm like,
you're like, fuck.
oh, like you wanted to hold her, like take her the whole time.
You're like, aguántala pues, para que mires como yo aguanto. Literally.
Oh my God, and then she's so heavy. She weighs 32 pounds.
Oh my God.
So, like, she wants to be carried all the time. I'm like, girl, no.
No, girl, this is a whole workout.
Yeah, I'm like, over there, like, all like...
You're all muscle building. You're all fucking
on this arm
potes.
only. This is how I hold her.
It's all going to be a big one.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
be
like...
skinny.
So she's so heavy.
Ya que ya tienes tiempo being a mom. What does motherhood mean to you?
I feel like when I think about motherhood, I just think about like protecting her and making sure that she's like loved and that she knows like that we're there for her, right? Like she knows like, oh, my mom's always going to be there for me. Like I have my mom. Like she's like my little best friend.
Yeah.
And I feel like motherhood is like the most beautiful thing ever. Like I feel like you won't like I can't explain it. Like I feel like you have to be like a mom to know like the love that you have for your child is just like so different. Like it's different than like loving like, oh, a family member or like a pet. Like it's like such like a deep like different like type of love. And I just like I love being a mom. I feel like it's like the best thing that like ever happened to me.
You're still really young, right? And obviamente before your baby, you had the liberty de salirte, irte at whatever time you wanted. Has that been like something that like has been hard on you? Like fuck, like if I want to make plans, I got to make sure que pues en donde voy a dejar a mi bebé, or no nomás puedo arrancarme, irme con mi novio wherever we want because we have a baby. Like, has that been something that has taken like some adjusting to do?
Yes, like when I came to the podcast, I'm like, who's gonna watch my baby? I'm like, Mom, please. But like my mom's like super like helpful. Like if I'm like, please, can you please watch her? She's like, yes, I'll watch her. So like that's like I'm like free babysitter.
Nos platicas un poquito about social media. Yo quiero saber un poquito de cómo empezó todo eso. What made you be like, you know what? Voy a agarrar mi teléfono, me voy a grabar, voy a vender la faja. Like, what made you be like, I want to start content creating? And what were the early days of content creating like for you? And en qué momento you realized like, oh shit, I just went viral. A video went viral. If I really put all my mind to it, I can really do the social media thing.
So it was like, I think during quarantine is like when I was like trying to like take it like seriously since I was just like at home like doing literally nothing. So I just like would start posting like random like videos, like kind of like memes because I feel like those were super like popular back then.
Yeah.
So I would start like posting those, and then there was times where like some of them would like pop off, like they'd go viral, and I'd be like, oh my God, like that's exciting. So then I would just like keep going. Like I was like pretty consistent with it. And then there was a point where like I was like, I like trolling people. So I would do like videos like trolling people. There was like this guy who was like super popular. I don't know if you've heard of him, Little Jaime. But there was like a time where like people would like be like, oh my God, he's so hot, blah, blah, blah. So I would make videos talking about like, oh my God, like he's so cute. Like this is my crush. And then people would be like, oh my God, like she for real? Like there's no way. So like I would like make like videos like that would like catch people's attention. Yeah. And then there was, do you know Lalo? Lalo's not crazy. Okay. Yes. And then I started doing it with Lalo. And then there was this time where I was like, I would go live and I would get.
Did you guys date or no?
Like not actually.
Oh, okay. It was like content vibes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was this time where like Lalo was on live and I would go on live too, but I would get like 300 like viewers, like not a lot. Like at this time, I think I had like 100,000 followers. Like I had somewhat of a following, but I wasn't like millions, you know? Yeah. So I would be like, guys, like go on Lalo's live and like tell him to go live with Jackie. And he'd be like, who's Jackie? Like, what?
¿Y esta quién es?
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck is that? And then one time he did go live with me and I was like flirting with him and I was like trying to be like funny, right? And then he like was doing it back and I was like, oh my God, like wait, like this is like funny, like you're like doing it with me, like you're playing along, right? And then like we would just keep going live every day, and then like it started popping off like Lalo and Jackie, like people like started believing that we were like actually a thing and that like we loved each other, all this stuff, and I'm like,
you're like, did you guys ever meet in person?
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay.
And like people think that like I would like text him like outside of like the TikTok lives and that we were like a thing, but I'm like, the only thing we would say off like live is like, when are you getting on live?
Yeah.
That's it. But like it was never like a thing.
No, you know what's so funny? I did see comments of people like, oh my God, like she's Lalo's ex. And then they're like, oh, let it rest. She's a mommy now. Yeah. But it's good that you like saying que nunca tuvieron nada así.
No, but like we never. Like I
Do you guys still talk now or no?
Oh, no, we don't. But like I still see comments being like, oh, is that Lalo's kid? I'm like,
you're like, no.
I'm like, she doesn't look like him.
Y ni empiecen.
She doesn't look like him.
As you started growing with social media, miren muchas cosas, you know, the hate comments. Have you ever let a hate comment get to you? If so, what type of comments would be the comments that, you know, would hurt you? And just in general, what is your overall thought on like the hate on social media?
I feel like I've never really like let the hate comments get to me just because I'm always like, I can turn off my phone and like, you're gone. Like, I don't even know who you are, right? And usually it's like, accounts that have like no profile picture, or it's like user blah 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 blah. I'm like,
or it's like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I'm like, who even are you? Or like,
I'm like, pinche chamaquito cagado.
Yeah, like you're just trying to like troll, right? Yeah. Like rage bait and stuff. So I feel like I've never really let any like comments get to me, but some of them like, there's like some comments that are annoying, like when they're like, oh my God, like she's fat, this and that. I'm like, I had a kid and I hate that like I can't like explain myself, you know. Those are the comments that just like they kind of get me a little bit mad. I'm like, y'all don't understand, like I had a child, like I'm not gonna bounce back. Like I wanted to bounce back, yeah, but like I didn't.
You look amazing, by the way. Fuck the comments, don't let them get to you. But you know, when it comes to the comments, it can get a little draining. Like you said, you wish you can explain yourself, but then you will, and then people will still find something to fucking say about it. You know, has there ever been a moment where you've seen maybe like a CHISME or like a rumor about you, or even in the comments, people talking shit where it's far from the truth, and you're like, oh my God, where the fuck is this coming from?
Oh my God, recently somebody was on stream and they clipped it, and I guess like the girl that was on stream, like I guess I like looked her up and down, but like I think I was looking at her outfit because like I have nothing against like the girl, like she's really pretty. Like this was my first time meeting her. Like I'm not like all like hater vibes or nothing.
Oh, so they were trying to make it seem like you're a hater?
They were like, oh my God, she's so envidiosa. She looked her up and down. I'm like, oh, I think I was like looking at her outfit, and then after like you can see me like be like, oh hey, and then I hugged her and they're like, she's two-faced. I'm like, no, that's not what happened.
Like I was checking her out.
Like I'm like, I think she was hot.
Yeah, I thought she was so pretty. That's what I was doing. I feel like it's so easy especially with live streams where people can like misinterpret things.
So now like whenever I see someone on live, I'm like,
you're like, fucking, I'm be friendly as fuck, like, not looking at anyone.
All right, just avoid it.
Yeah, girl, I'm just gonna say I'm blind. You're like, so you won't even say shit. Like that. Do you love doing social media? Like, what are like your goals when it comes to your social media?
Yeah, I feel like social media is like so fun, and I love that I can like stay at home with my daughter. I think my goals would be probably just to work with like more brands and get more brand deals, and then like I kind of like, I don't know, maybe like I want to like start like selling like my own fajas or something, like my own faja company, you know. That'd be so cool.
Cause you already probably sell so many fajas for another company. Might as well fucking come out with your own y que las vendas tú.
Like that would be so cool, and like obviously like I feel comfortable like showing that they work, right? So I'm like, guys, look.
Y yo sé que todas esas metas que tienes, si tú te pones al tiro and you start doing what you gotta do, yo sé que you're gonna accomplish them even in less than 5 to 10 years. A la mejor mañana, güey. But thank you so much for being here with us today and really opening up. I'm sure this, was very, como nos dices, al principio estaba super shy, you guys, and she was nervous, pero ahorita bien chingón que le salió todo. Like, I feel like you just had to get over like those little hiccups and like those little nerves, but you did amazing, and thank you so much for opening up, porque yo sé que allá en casita las personitas te pudieron conocer un poquito más. Si ustedes no le ayudan a seguir, amigas, make sure you guys go ahead and follow her. I will leave her links down below as well as on the screen right here. Y también no se les olvide seguir a mí so you guys won't miss any future episodes. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Yay! It is so good.